Imagine a vast territory in northeastern North America. It's defined by cold winters, immense rivers, and a distinct cultural identity that stands out across the continent. This place is Quebec, now the independent Republic of Quebec. Quebec occupies a strategic position between the United States and the rest of Canada, stretching from the Great Lakes to the edge of the Arctic. Its territory covers more than 1.5 million square kilometers, making it larger than countries such as France, Spain, and Germany combined. As a country, Quebec would rank among the largest in the world by land area, comparable in size to Mongolia or Peru. Much of this land is sparsely populated, dominated by forests, rivers, tundra, and natural resources. The southern portion of the territory concentrates most of the population and economic activity. Here lies the St. Lawrence River, one of the most important waterways in North America. This river would be the economic spine of the country, connecting inland cities to the Atlantic Ocean. Through it, Quebec would access global trade routes without relying on foreign ports. Quebec's largest city is Montreal, a major metropolitan center with global influence. It's a capital of finance, culture, and technology. Montreal would be comparable to cities like Barcelona or Milan. The political capital would remain Quebec City, a historic urban center with fortified architecture and symbolic importance. Its role would resemble that of capitals like Vienna or Prague, smaller but deeply tied to national identity. The total population of this hypothetical country would be around 8.5 million people. This places Quebec near countries such as Austria or Switzerland in demographic scale. Despite its moderate population, Quebec would be a highly urbanized country. Most citizens live in cities concentrated along the St. Lawrence corridor. Culturally, Quebec would be unique among Western nations due to its francophone majority. French would be the dominant language of government, education, and media. This linguistic reality would place Quebec closer to countries like France or Belgium than to its English-speaking neighbors. At the same time, strong bilingualism would connect it economically to the broader North American market. Quebec's cultural identity is shaped by a blend of French heritage, North American modernity, and indigenous roots. This combination would give the country a strong soft power presence in global culture. Quebec would possess a diversified and advanced economy. Its gross domestic product would be roughly $400 billion. That level of output would place it alongside countries like Denmark or Ireland. Per capita income would be high, reflecting a developed and productive society. The economy would rely heavily on services, manufacturing, and natural resources. Hydroelectric power would be one of its greatest strategic assets. Quebec already produces massive amounts of renewable electricity from its rivers. As a country, it would be one of the world's largest exporters of clean energy. This would grant Quebec geopolitical leverage similar to that of Norway with oil, but based on renewables. Energy exports would strengthen trade ties with neighboring regions. Manufacturing would remain a core pillar of the economy. Quebec would be a significant producer of aerospace technology, transportation equipment, and advanced materials. Companies based in Quebec already play key roles in global aviation and rail industries. As a country, this sector would place it among the top aerospace hubs worldwide. The technology and artificial intelligence sector would also be a defining feature. Montreal is already recognized as a global center for artificial intelligence research. This would give Quebec an edge comparable to countries like South Korea or Israel in innovation density. Public investment in research and education would support long-term competitiveness. Quebec's trade relationships would be deeply integrated with the United States. The American market would absorb the majority of Quebec's exports. In this scenario, Quebec would function economically like a mid-sized European export nation. Its economy would depend on open borders and stable trade agreements. Geopolitically, Quebec would occupy a delicate but influential position. It would sit between major powers while maintaining control over critical northern territory. Its Arctic and subarctic regions would give it access to future shipping routes and natural resources. This would elevate Quebec's strategic importance in global climate and security discussions. As a country, Quebec would likely invest heavily in diplomacy and multilateral institutions. Its international posture would resemble that of neutral, trade-focused nations. Socially, Quebec would stand out for its strong public services. Universal healthcare and accessible education would remain central pillars of society. Public spending levels would be similar to those of Nordic countries. This would support high quality of life and low levels of inequality. Quebec's media landscape would be robust and distinct. Domestic television, cinema, and music would dominate local consumption. This cultural self-sufficiency would be rare in a globalized world. It would allow Quebec to project its identity without relying heavily on foreign media. Internationally, Quebec artists and filmmakers would serve as cultural ambassadors. The country would punch above its weight in global cultural influence. Sports would also play a role in national identity. Ice hockey would be a defining symbol with global recognition. At the same time, Quebec would host international sporting and cultural events. This would reinforce its image as an open and modern society. However, this hypothetical country would not be without challenges. Demographic aging would place pressure on public finances. Low birth rates would force Quebec to rely on immigration for population growth. Managing integration while preserving cultural identity would be a constant balancing act. Regional inequality would also be a major issue. Northern regions would remain underdeveloped compared to the urban south. Maintaining infrastructure across such a vast territory would be costly. This would require long-term strategic planning and investment. Climate change would present both risks and opportunities. Melting ice would open new routes but threaten ecosystems and indigenous communities. Quebec would need to position itself as a leader in environmental governance. Its renewable energy profile would support this role. Historically, Quebec has demonstrated resilience during economic and political crises. That institutional experience would carry over into statehood. The country would likely maintain stable democratic institutions. Governance would be comparable in quality to Western European democracies. In global rankings, Quebec would appear as a high-income, highly developed nation. Its human development indicators would place it near the top worldwide. In essence, Quebec as a country would be a compact economic power with vast territory. It would combine European-style social systems with North American economic integration. Its influence would not come from military strength, but from energy, culture, and trade. Quebec would be a quiet but significant player on the global stage. Viewed this way, Quebec would not be a superpower, but it would be a stable, prosperous, and influential country by any modern standard.